name is Jordan Lee McCook.
Jordan, and what is it that you do?
I'm a barber and I'm a radio talk show host. I'm also the CEO and founder of McCook&Co.
Now, you're a barber. So how did you decide initially, like, barbering is what I want to do?
Man, so it's a good question, man. I started off at around 14 or 15 years old, and there was a barber who I was going to, who was more than just a barber to me. He was a mentor, and allowed me to see the ropes of barbering, his finances, his schedule, allowed me to see and know that he was self-employed. He didn't have a boss. He created his hours, came to work when he wanted to, and left when he wanted to, had leisure time. And so sophomore year, early sophomore year, summer, I guess it was, allowed me to see that. And I've always been concerned with my future and where I was going to go. And so not only did he allow me to see that, but he gave me my first pair of clippers, man. Shout out to Derek Detail Johnson, man. He was my barber, man, from like 2009, 2010, and allowed me to see that real aspect of who and what a barber really is.
So you're a sophomore in high school, then you move on, and you've been doing barbering now for how many years?
I've been barbering for about 7 years now. I've been a barber for about 7 years.
21 years old, and you've already been barbering for 7 years, right. And now you're moving on to a radio show. What's the name of your show?
McCook&Co radio show here in San Antonio, Texas. You can find it on 9:30 The Answer. We'll be streaming live.
So how do you move from being a barber to a radio show host? Explain that.
So I believe the platform that I have, being a barber, is bigger than just dope haircuts and winning barber belts and trophies and stuff like that. I believe that I use my influence in the barbershop to be able to touch hearts and impact people's life. This is what it is. Whether we believe it or not, everybody in life, anybody that you come across in the world is going through something, has an issue in life that they may not ever address to you, may not ever bring to you, but is going through something. And so in the barbering world, in the barbershop, I use this platform to be able to impact, encourage, and touch hearts, man, touch lives. The clients can come in here, they can let their hair down and give me the real of what's going on in their life. And me being an encourager, I want to always create an environment, a space of positivity. And so I'm always concerned with broadening that horizon, touching people just beyond the barbershop, touching people beyond the church, touching people beyond just the young kids that I talk to in a youth group, but adults, college kids, pastors, lawyers, it doesn't matter who you are. And so the radio show, all it does is broaden my horizon. Give me a bigger and better platform to be able to impact they have over 100,000 listeners on this one station. And so I'm excited to be able to take that heartfelt, pure passion of just impacting and touching lives to the radio.
Awesome, awesome. Now, your radio show is starting here December 10th?
December 10th we air. December 10th is our first air date. We will be live on SoundCloud and the Apple Music Store. So
you're in the shop, you're on radio,
right.
You also visit different campuses, schools, and do speaking engagements.
Yes, sir.
What can you offer your audience? What will your audience leave away with after hearing you at a speaking engagement?
And that's the thing. Being young, I always feel inadequate to my listeners. I don't care if they're young or old, because I always want to make sure that I'm delivering a product that is going to touch and impact somebody, that's going to be effective. And so at 21 years old, I can guarantee the one thing that I want listeners, the one thing that I want supporters, the one thing that I want those who are listening to me at these different college campuses, listening to Jordan McCook on stage speak, is hope. I want them to find hope in what I'm saying. I can almost guarantee that you'll be walking away with a broader perspective of where your current reality is. See, I always want people to dream bigger. Dream bigger than the current life situation. I'm not saying that every situation in life and the people out there is just bad, but I'm saying my grandmother taught me at a very young age that you should always be wanting and desiring more. She was 70 something years old and she was still enrolled in college. And I said, Grandma, I said, why are you still doing this? You're tired. Why do you still go to school? And she said, baby, as long as you're alive, I believe that you should be striving for greater. And when she told me that, it just did something to me. And so when I go out and I'm speaking at these college campuses, I want to give these people hope. I want to re-energize them. I want to be like Kanye said, the espresso in the morning to these people's lives. And so when they leave, they have this, they have a discomfort for where they are to strive for better, to strive for more. And so that's what I can guarantee you'll get when you invite Jordan McCook out to be a speaker, no matter where it is. So.
All right, so we know you're of the Christian faith.
Yes, sir.
All right, so how did you stumble on your faith? How did you become Christian?
My sister was actually the first one to sit down with me and go through the Bible with me. And I was like, man, I'm really not trying to hear that. I really don't understand all that you're talking about. But I listened. And God touched me. God touched me beyond emotion, touched me beyond what a pastor or somebody could give. My mother, like I said, never forced Christianity or religion or any of that on me. And so it wasn't the Christian faith that I found. It was God that I found. And God put passion and desire inside of me to long for purpose. And when I realized that God birthed me after He created my purpose, and my purpose is I'm going to be able to fulfill my purpose only through Him. That's why it launched me into searching for Him more and more and more, and unlocking those doors more and more and more. And so when you see McCook&Co, you see the radio show, you see me in the barbering room, you see me winning barber belts, you see me all over social media and stuff. The two aren't separate. Business and God aren't separate. I am because God is. I am because God created me. The Christian faith, all that kind of stuff, religion and all the extra stuff isn't really what launched me into being who I am today. It was God. God opened those doors for me. God made a way for me. And so that's what it's been for me. My burning desire is that passion and purpose that He put inside of me. And so I really feel like because God touched me at such a young age, I owe God this. And so the two aren't separate. I am because God is.
All right, and your name is McCook&Co, and as I understand, you have barbering under that brand. Also, your radio show is under McCook&Co. Speaking engagement, everything you do is under McCook&Co. What is McCook&Co? Where did that come from? Why McCook&Co?
I was told I needed to brand myself. And so in my time of prayer, in my time of reaching out to people who could help really brand myself, I went through like 6 or 7 names and multiple, too many logos of what McCook was going to be, of what Jordan's brand was going to be. And God made a way for me to find McCook&Co. He allowed me to connect with a designer who gave me a list of names, and after like 6 or 7 brand names, McCook&Co was the one that just stuck out to me. And why it stuck out to me, and God later showed me this, was I'm McCook, and for all the supporters, all the souls, all the hearts, all the family, young and old, it doesn't matter who it is, that supports and is a part of McCook&Co, we're going to be blessed because this thing is a God dream. And so I'm McCook, and company is all the supporters, family, loved ones. And I mean, and God is just, McCook&Co is because God is. It's God breathed. It's God dreamed. And so that's how I came about McCook&Co, McCook&Co.
I'm just moving back to the age, 21 years old. You're in a generation where a lot is being said negatively about the generation that you're in. I just want to know what you think about the problems of the generations, or what some problems or some issues that you may see in the generation today.
We have a lot of creativity. We have a lot of uniqueness. But the problem is we have no substance. We have no substance from the generation that come before us, no wisdom, no knowledge, no way on or how we should execute or how we should go about doing the uniqueness and the creative ideas that we have. And so we're frowned upon a lot of time. The millennials are frowned upon a lot of time because we do mess up. We do a lot of just stuff that doesn't make sense. We say a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. That just is outside. Like, why would you ever say that? But I don't think that's necessarily wrong. Kanye said we live in a renaissance period. A renaissance period where you're not expected to just do one profession. He says we have creativity and we're limitless beyond belief. And so that a lot of the times from the generation coming before us can seem as if we are rebels, or we're just in rebellion, or we're just ridiculous, when we're not, man. Just that creativity and that uniqueness needs to be shaped. It needs to be formed. It needs to be molded. And I think I can impact our generation because I'm bringing a lot of positivity. I'm bringing a lot of hope to this young generation who may not have any hope. They can see a young guy on the platform that is doing some really positive and encouraging stuff, and I'm not putting on the front. I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. I'm liberating others, the young people, the older generation who have been bound up by limits, by a box that we have put ourselves by society, that we've been put inside of, and say, you can't do this, or you're only supposed to do this one thing. What I mean is, if you're a singer, you're not supposed to, you're a singer, you're not supposed to rap. Oh, you're a barber, you're definitely not supposed to go out and talk to nobody. You're not a civil rights leader. You're not an activist. You're not a TV, radio show talk host. So how I can impact this generation is they say, wow, Jordan was a barber. Well, no, he's not just a mediocre barber who's going to stay behind the barber chair and just cut heads for the rest of his life. No, he's expanding. He's liberating others. He's taking the shackles and chains off of the younger generation's mind, the older generation's mind as well, to say, hey, we need that mentorship. We need that development. And so they see me connecting with the older generation, listening, sitting down and being humble. That's what our generation needs. We need to sit down and listen to somebody and stop thinking we know it all. But when they see Jordan McCook, they see somebody who is walking the path of somebody who has already walked before me, humbly and listening. The difference between people who make it in today's society and the people who don't are the ones who listen, are the kids who listen, the ones who are willing to obey, heed to what the older generation is saying. And so that's what I'm able to give to this younger generation. I'm able to give them an example. Tupac said, not just a role model, because we have too many people for too long who have played roles, but a real model who says, hey, look at me. I'm going to be transparent through the ups and downs, but guess what? I'm always going to give you what's real. I'm always going to give you hope. I'm always going to give you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, to impact this generation.
All right, so what's next? What do you have going on next?
What I have next for McCook&Co, man, is, of course, we're going to the radio. We have a launch party getting ready to come up. I want all of you guys to come out and support December 9th at 7 p.m. Living Waters Community Church. Shout out to Brandon Clark for allowing us to be in his venue, allowing us to use his facility for that. But we're going to be launching the beginning of a new era, man, seeing a barber go to the radio, and hopefully from the radio to the TV. And from the TV, I mean, there is no limits. That's what we're doing next. Support, buy the clothes, buy the products, support. I don't care if it's just a Jordan, congratulations, Jordan, keep going. And so that's what's next, and God is opening these doors. So I don't know where God is going. I don't want to even say anything, put myself in a box, because God could be thinking way bigger than a TV show, a radio show, and getting barber license and all that kind of stuff. He's thinking way beyond what I can see, man. My future, the funny thing about God is my future is not what lies ahead of me, but it's what he already put inside of me. My future isn't what's ahead of me. It's what's inside of me. And so whatever God decides to reveal next, that's what's next. But what we have coming up is, of course, the radio show. We air December 10th. We air December 10th on a Saturday at 6 p.m. Listen closely. Listen to us. We will be on 9:30 The Answer, and we have the party on the 9th to just set this thing off. And so that's what we have.
We're going to play a little game.
All right.
So I've seen Richard Pryor play this game. I'm going to just say a word. You'll just feed me back your first thought.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Clippers.
Reality.
People.
hearts
This generation.
on fire.
Christ.
My dad.
McCook&Co.
Dope.